Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon, and thank you for joining us on another Star Wars Saturday. I am riding solo today as our co-host Oti is off for the weekend, but he'll be back next time. But we're here on Radio Rebellion, Star Wars podcast, a Star Wars story out there. We just got confirmation about Andor Season 2, and we'll get to that in a minute. Thank you to everyone that's joining us today. It's another day, another week. It's a tough week for a lot of us out there, but we'll let that. Today, we're here to have fun, be a chill episode. Not a lot of news stories out there. We'll talk about, we'll do a review on Tears of the Nameless. We're going to have some fun. It'll be a quick show, intimate show. Anyone out there, we'll chat. We'll see how things are going. So, for anyone joining us today for the first time, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop, hopefully every Saturday, but who knows. Like this video and comment down below anything you want us to discuss, Star Wars related, your thoughts on all the topics we're going to be discussing today, or anything that you want us to cover at some point. So let me fix this camera. All right. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you. Always enjoy those. Still doing that, and give us a rating, reviews, and again, let us know how you guys are doing out there. I love reading from you guys. And to all our new friends on Blue Sky, thank you for subscribing to our channel or following us, whatever you want to say, over at Blue Sky. We'll be trying to post there a little bit more often. We've been doing that this week, and we'll continue. We're still on all the other platforms, but we'll see how Blue Sky grows in the coming weeks, coming months, coming years. And we'll be there, same handle at Radio Rebel Pod. You can find us almost anywhere. All right, who's out there today before we officially start? Our friend Brennan. How you doing, Brennan? Thanks for joining us. I know we need to get back to you to schedule another visit to your show. Page Turners, There Were Not. Hello there. I absolutely love this book and found myself very invested in the story and the characters. I'm really enjoying this series so far, and I can't wait for the resolution. Resolution is almost there, Brennan, as you know. Next year, we're less than a year away for the end of this High Republic initiative. I've been saying before, I'm pretty sure that stories inside the High Republic will keep getting them anyways after this initial three-phase arc is complete. But yeah, we're almost there. I think we have three novels. I know there's Into the Light, the Claudia Gray young adult book in between, but almost there. Can't wait for the end. And our friend Dale, as always, is there. Hello there, Dale. Hello, General Skywalker Academy. And Wei Monsieur, Wookiee Talks. Thanks for joining us. We're going to have fun again if you guys are still there in the chat. And if you're joining or you're not in the chat, put all your comments, thoughts on anything we're going to be talking about or anything that has happened recently in the Star Wars universe. Let us know. We'll try to discuss. Like I mentioned, we have our agenda for today. We'll go through it. We'll improvise. We'll add things if needed. I will see. But before we start officially, because we had like just two official things to talk about, but D23 Brazil is happening this weekend. The Lucasfilm or Disney panel just ended for the second day. This is when Lucasfilm was talking, Marvel, a bunch of the big franchises under Disney that are not the parks, and Pixar, all that stuff, all that I believe happened yesterday and this morning. And we got confirmation that Andor Season 2 is coming April 22nd, 2025. This was spoiled, if you want to use that word, for a release date. Earlier today, the Disney Plus app put up a banner that says Andor Season 2 April 22nd, 2025. It got removed pretty quickly, but a lot of people saw it, got those screen grabs. I saw it, not the official thing on the app. I saw when someone posted it on Twitter. And now officially during the D23 Lucasfilm panel a couple of hours ago, it was announced April 22nd, they put the A Star Wars stories in there. So Andor, A Star Wars story. So we love seeing that. Similar like us here, Star Wars podcast. This is something that me and Otis spoke, I want to say last week or maybe the week before, and I've been speculating for a little bit that this Andor season 2 was going to hit pretty early in 2025. I initially thought it was going to be before Star Wars Celebration. Last week or last time we talked about this, I kind of backtracked a little bit. I thought it was maybe closer to the summer. But no, it's right there. It's that Tuesday right after Star Wars Celebration, which is that weekend before. I think the 18th to the 20th of April. And then the 22nd, we get the premiere of season 2. I think Oti said it last week. Maybe they'll do that like they've done with other shows, and they'll show a couple of episodes to the people in Japan out there for celebration. I think that's a great boost for people to go out there, see it a couple of days earlier. That's fine. We're gonna get it then on Tuesday. 12 episodes, same as season 1. I believe we kind of suspected this if it hadn't been officially confirmed. I'm pretty sure it was. Again, confirmation that it's going to have 3 episodes arc, like 4 arcs of 3 episodes each. Between each arc, there's going to be a 1-year gap. I'm not sure if I don't know if each arc lasts a year, or if it's arc 1 ends, there's a year in between, and then arc 2 starts, there's a year in between, but all the way leading to the finale, which we've heard plenty of times leads right into Rogue One. So as that starts getting closer, I don't want to start jumping and speculating too early. We still have Skeleton Crew, which is coming in about 3.5 weeks. Then we'll get into all our Andor speculation. There's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of people that might show up. So yeah, we'll see, but great to have confirmation. Great to hear a little bit more about it now in D23. A couple of other things were, I don't want to say announced, kind of confirmed. More about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I think they showed a little sizzle, very similar to the trailer that was shown during the last convention. I can't even remember where it was, probably at Comic-Con. So yeah, they showed again a little bit for Mando and Grogu. Confirmed that Pedro Pascal will be back as the Mandalorian. Kind of that's a no-brainer. I'm pretty sure just for the voice acting, but that's fine. I don't have any other issues with it. But I think the big one is Andor. So we got a confirmation. Skeleton Crew will be done by early next year, January, I believe. 1 or 2 months in between of a break, and then straight into Andor. So it's going to be a great couple of weeks there from Celebration Japan straight to Andor. So, and 12 episodes, then I love this. Hopefully we don't get like 4 episodes drop at once. Give me 2. If you want to do more than 1, give me 2 episodes just to get us going, and then extend this series or this season, this final season, for another 10 weeks. I'll be happy with that. All right, again, for you guys out there, if you're watching now, if you're in the chat or want to get into the chat, just let us know how hype you are for season 2 of Andor. If for some reason you're going to Star Wars Celebration, what is your what's one thing that if you could at least see one thing in Andor season 2, what would it be? If you want us to talk about it, let us know. All right. Well, with that said, let's officially start the show. So if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars movie news.
Star Wars movie news.
All right, Star Wars movie news. I mean, we had it last week. We're going again, more Star Wars movie news, and I love it. We're getting back into what Lucasfilm does, what Otto usually says. Lucasfilm is a movie studio, so we're getting back into it. And same as we said last time, rumors. These are all rumors, so take everything with a grain of salt. But the rumors are that there's a new Star Wars trilogy in the works that will be written and produced. Let me start again. So Deadline is reporting that a new Star Wars trilogy is in the works with X-Men and Rebels alum Simon Kinberg, set to write and produce all 3 films. My first reaction is yes. I mean, it's a new Star Wars. Again, rumors. We don't know if this is true or not. We'll keep it like that for a while. But yeah, let me 1 second. Let me put this. I don't know. Oof, no. Sorry, I'm just fixing stuff. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, my initial reaction, apart from yes, just give me more Star Wars. I don't care. I know people, even though they say they love Star Wars, they quickly go to here we go again, more movies that will never get see the light of day. Why they keep announcing stuff again? Lucasfilm hasn't announced this. This is just rumors. Are they true? Probably. There's a lot of different people out there that are confirming this story. A lot of the trades. So I'm not gonna say that it's not happening, but it's not confirmed. So if it falls through the cracks, then it falls through the cracks. It wasn't confirmed. Pre-production and in production, it's a lot covers a lot of ground. So just because something's in production doesn't mean it's gonna come out. So that was my first thought. Give me more Star Wars. Yes, I love Star Wars. I just want to see more. I'll take it. And then it's double yes in hopefully sticking to the path that if you hire Simon Kinberg to write and produce, especially write all three movies, that he writes all three movies. So writes that treatment for all three movies, what the story is going to be for all those three movies, because that's the main drive that people have with the sequel trilogies. There wasn't really a connecting idea or connecting arc between all three. You can feel when it went from J.J. Abrams to Rian Johnson, then back to J.J. again. And there wasn't a throughput idea. Look at Snoke here, Snoke there. What happened with Rey's parentage, all that. Did it change? Probably. Just give me one. One person writes all three stories, all three movies. If you want different directors for all three, that's fine, but the story stays consistent. So that I love. If that's the truth, that's where they're going. I love it. Give me more of that. I'm expecting an official announcement of this as Star Wars Celebration. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Star Wars Celebration is going to be very important for the future of Star Wars, especially in the Disney Plus live action TV shows. I think that's going to be not where the focus is, but where I want to see where Star Wars is heading. Movies, this is an extra plus. Like, I didn't need these three movies to be announced. Like, we already have 4 movies in some sort of that production timetable. So that was enough to get me going. Plus, we know we have the Sean Levi movie that's been announced or has been, he's talked about it. I'm going to say it's been announced. But this is brand new. What does it mean? I don't know. Star Wars Celebration should answer a lot of those questions. And then this is where all those questions are going to come into play. So according to Deadline, these new movies will be a continuation of the Skywalker saga and be episodes 10, 11, 12. I'll start asking you guys out there. Again, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're listening later in the replay. Do you want these new movies by Simon Kinberg to be episodes 10, episode 11, episode 12? Do the continuation of the Star Wars saga, or at least continue with the numbering of the movies? Do you think, would you prefer something different? Maybe leave episode 10 for the Rey movie, or the episodic number end with the Rise of Skywalker, because that's the Skywalker saga. What do you guys prefer? So one, I do believe that we will see episodes 10, 11, 12 at some point in the future. Is it this Simon Kinberg trilogy? I'm not sure. I had speculated that the Rey movie was going to be episode 10. I still believe that that's going to be the case. If the Rey movie is that new Jedi Order movie, the first one to come out in that time period, then I believe that it should be episode 10. It depends on how much of a purist you want to be. If it needs to be a Skywalker saga, quote unquote, to be considered an episodic titled movie. To me, it doesn't. If it's a Star Wars story that follows some of those characters that we've seen and the main stories, with Rey continuing, then that should be episode 10. If it doesn't, and it's just a whatever name, title, Star Wars movie, I'll be fine with it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I think whichever comes next is going to be the one. And I think the Rey movie should be episode 10 if we go that way. Then on the other side, Entertainment Weekly disputed that last claim by saying that it will be the start of a new saga and sit along previously announced projects, Dawn of the Jedi and the Rey-led New Jedi Order movie. So we have 2 contrasting reports of the same story. Both of them agree that Simon Kinberg is coming to write and produce a Star Wars trilogy. Deadline said episodes 10, 11, 12 following the Skywalker saga. Entertainment Weekly says, not so fast. It's going to be connected to the Dawn of the Jedi and the Skywalker and the Rey movie. And it's not going to be, it will be the start of a new saga. So the way kind of see Star Wars going, at least in the past, I don't know how, we'll see how they do moving forward, some of the issues they've kind of run into. They want to connect a lot of dots, and we'll talk about that when we do our review of Tears of the Nameless. Not that they want to do a Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they are connecting a lot of stories and what they're doing with the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, the Filoni movie. All that is one big connecting piece. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's something in Dawn of the Jedi, the James Mangold movie, that connects to the Rey movie, that then connects to this trilogy. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. I do want something there to be episodes 10, 11, and 12. Does this mean that Simon Kinberg is the new writer for the Rey movie? We know they lost Stephen Knight recently. Daisy really has continually come out and said, you're going to see something soon. I've already read something. We're ready for the next phase. I think all this will be made very clear at Star Wars Celebration in a couple of months. So we'll see. Wherever it falls, it doesn't matter to me. It's more Star Wars. The name, you can spend hours analyzing the titles of the movies and why should one be episode 10 or the other one. I still think that if you're going to name the movies or number the movies, give it to the Rey movie. Let that New Jedi Order movie be episode 10. It's continuing the big overall Star Wars stories out there. So I would like that. And if it's two different things, like the Simon Kinberg's a separate trilogy, and then you have Dawn of the Jedi plus the Rey movie its own thing, and we have 5 different Star Wars movies, I'm not gonna complain, and I'm pretty sure most people out there wouldn't. Just give me all those pews, right? All right, let me look at some of your comments out there from Dale. Just give me 1 second. Let me take a quick drink. All right, so Dale, I think we're in the same wavelength there. You say, I love it whether it's 10 or a different time. Yeah, same thing. It doesn't matter. You also add, if George wrote it that way, that's the way it should be. I'm here to hear a story, not pick and choose what I want to see. It's not about me. Dale, you're so smart. There's times that you surprise us, Dale. And I agree. Just sit down, watch the story, read the story, and then say if you like it or not. It's not for us to decide, oh, that's not the story I wanted to see. We didn't write it. We're here as the audience to watch what's presented to us and then decide if we liked it or not. That's totally fair. But to say, oh, that's not the story I wanted to see, well, I'm sorry. We're not the ones writing it. It's those people out there. So, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Yeah. If it's Rey's the new Skywalker, so because she chose to be good, so be it. Yeah. Continue Skywalker saga because Rey's a Skywalker. She's the new Skywalker. And finally, Dale is saying they have everything George wrote, so his stories to tell, and if the writers and directors can interpret all of it correctly, give them the creative freedom of JJ and Ryan. And I'm still holding out for the Rian Johnson trilogy, 2035 maybe, who knows. I'll take it. Again, not the biggest fan of The Last Jedi, but I love Rian Johnson as a director and a storyteller out there, so I'll take it. All right, so again, very excited for anything Star Wars related, especially new movies coming out or announced. Again, nothing official has been announced. I expect an official announcement during Star Wars Celebration. And then we'll spend a lot of time here talking and analyzing every little bit. So can't wait for that. All right, so let's move on to our next story, which is what we're going to just solely talk about today, but we got that little trilogy news come out, so we're good to talk about it. But let's go to, where is it? Our review of Tears of the Nameless. I put this out there. Spoiler review for Tears of the Nameless by George Mann, the latest High Republic novel, Phase 3. We are almost there at the end, like Brennan mentioned at the beginning of the show. We are extremely close to the end of the High Republic. This has been a very long journey. I believe like 3 years. It will be 4 years by the time this comes to an end, if I'm not mistaken. And what a journey it's been. And now we're starting to reach that point where most of the storylines are coming together. And I'm glad we're finally reaching that point. Let me get some of my, I don't know what I say, complaints, some of my negative, which actually before that, this is one of my favorite Phase 3 novels so far. It's right there. I'll put it top 2 most likely. George Mann has come out. Everything is written High Republic wise. He's knocked it out of the parks every time. Battle of Jeddah, short stories. I know this one, he's just killing it. So yeah, Tears of the Nameless. When I was going to say, the only gripe that I might have is not doesn't affect me personally, but I understand why it might some people. This is one of those books that it will benefit you greatly if you've read most of all the High Republic stories out there, from Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, some of the comic books. You need to know a lot of what has happened to really, really enjoy this book. In the past, and George Mann does it here also, all the authors have been great in putting little things inside their stories to try to help people catch up of what happened recently, where the characters are, and where the story is going. But there's so much that they're putting into Tears of the Nameless. As I mentioned before, they're starting to bring all those storylines together. That's difficult to do that without spending 4 chapters just of retreading what happened. And that doesn't happen here, which I'm glad we didn't have to. But I understand if someone just started reading Phase 3 for an example, or just picking some books here and there, they might be a little bit lost or might not know the whole context. And there's a lot of context going into this book, especially with Reed Silas, which is our main character here, and of course the return of his ex-master, ex-Jedi Comac Virus, which is one of my favorite, right next to Ola Jorenes, my favorite characters in the High Republic. He makes a triumphant return. So if you don't know the whole backstory and the emotional connection of those 2 characters, you can read some of it in this book, but if you're not connected to it, it's going to be difficult to have those emotional resonance, as they won't hit as hard as they should for people like myself and others that have had the opportunity to read most of these stories. So that's, I think, one of my only kind of negative, if you want to call it that. But yeah, Reed Silas and Amadeo Asaso, this Padawan that it was introduced by Lydia Kang in Tales of Light and Life last summer. He's shown up a little bit in a couple of other books, but he is front and center also here, along with his master, Miro Lux. They're both here. They do great. But most of the story, Reed Silas, Amadeo, Comac, and the villain in this one, Sicarus, a children of the storm. We'll get to that. One of my favorite things about this book, and it surprised me, Star Wars, they've done mysteries before. They've done kind of detective noir stories. They've done with, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that great detective out there, right? The Negotiator. We saw a little bit of it in Attack of the Clones. Let me pull up my review because I forgot what was the name of this, but in one of the, sorry, I'm a little bit lost in what I wrote. Anyway, I'll get to it in a minute. What I was saying, I love when, there we go, how it connects different stories. Trails of the Shadows, that's what I was going to say. This comic book that have this Jedi Emerick Captor as a detective trying to find information about the Nameless and what's going on. They didn't even know what the Nameless was at that point. So they done this type of stories before, detective stories, kind of looking for information. But this was the first time they was kind of scientific based. It reminded me of Star Trek a little bit and other more grounded series where Reed is just there in his lab doing science, doing experiments, trying to figure out. He has the hand of Santeca. he has it there, and he's studying the decaying effects of the blight, how that compares to the husking effects of the Nameless, of the Jedi that they found. They have dead Nameless specimens they be able to bring, and he's testing all this stuff. So this is very separate from what we've seen from Star Wars. So I love that we got to see that, and who else, who better than Reed Silas to do this. This is this Jedi introduced to us by Claudia Gray, my favorite Star Wars book so far, Into the Dark as a Padawan. He didn't want to be out there in the wilds, out in the galaxy, going on adventures. He wanted to be back in Coruscant, in the archive, just studying and gathering all this information. He's finally able to do that, put his talents and what he loves into helping the Jedi by trying to find a solution to it. But then he puts all this weight. He has the weight of all the Jedi councils, and all the Jedi masters, and the whole Republic basically on his shoulders. He feels like he's the only one that can do this. And it starts draining on him. And then it's when you bring someone like Amadeo Asasio, this other Padawan. That was the other way when we met him in Tales of Light and Life. He was finally excited to go out on a mission, to leave Coruscant and see the bigger world and the bigger universe. He even hesitated if this was the path for him when he had that one night to go out and explore Coruscant. But he decided, no, I'm a Jedi. This is what I'm going to do. So it was great bringing those characters together, similar ages. I think Reed is 1 or 2 years older, but having different experiences. Amadeo has been on the field for the past year, has seen the effects of the blight, and brings like real account, like first-hand account of what the blight does and how it affects everything, not just people, the planets, the fauna, the animals, everything. And then that helps Reed combine what he's found so far, just studying about the Nameless, and start coming with theories and hypotheses where maybe they work at the same level, maybe they all originated from the same planet, maybe the Nameless works in a micro level, a micro system level, affecting the person, while the blight is on a macro system, macro level, affecting the whole planet and bigger systems. No, again, not just living beings, but also like buildings and all this other stuff and structures. And so putting all that stuff together was one of my favorite parts. Again, we haven't seen this too much in Star Wars, so I love all that. Then you bring the return of Comac Virus, that he's out there Indiana Jones style, which was another surprise and reminded me of Indiana Jones, as he's out there trying to find the secrets of the Ptolemies, this lost city. He's searching in temples, trying to find, looking at star map. Then reminded me of Jedi Survivor, the video games. So those two things going on at the same time was really unexpected, because I really wasn't sure where this book was going to go, but was very refreshing. It could have been another, we're just trying to fight Mark and Rowe and here are the Nameless. No, it was, let's figure out what's going out there and try to find a solution. The Jedi already have a way to go back and forth between the Storm Wall. Ava Chris, also Man, Buriaga were able to sustain the effects of the Nameless and push back and kill one. So they're trying to figure that out, even though I drained the energy, the force energy from most of them. But now let's find the other component to it and bring all that together. So bringing all this now together is what I love, that we're striding towards the end. So Comac Virus, again, not just trying to find the legend of the Ptolemites, what do they call it? The three Asians and the plague of the Ptolemites. And that's probably my favorite part also. So much things were my favorite parts of this book. But for Comac was not just, hey, I'm back, how you doing? His story or his arc is told in two different timelines. One when he was a Padawan again, with Orla Jareni, so I'm glad that George Mann was able to bring Orla back. And a time in Comac's life when he was doubting his place also, not in the Jedi Order, but his place among the Jedi. I guess he was afraid to make a leap, like a physical leap over a canyon. Of course, it's a metaphorical leap that he was to do also. And I forgot the name of his master, but was basically saying you're putting more more confidence into your fears than into your abilities or something. You're letting your fears control your abilities. Like, just let go. Like Jedi say, you've made this jump hundreds of times. Why are you afraid now? What if I miss it? I fall, I'm gonna die. Like, get rid of your fears. You're letting your fears control your decisions. It shouldn't be that way. Then he's able to make the jump, which then, of course, plays with what's going on in real time, how his fears of the war against the Nihil back at the end of phase one, his decision to leave the Jedi Order, his decision to say the way the Jedi are fighting this is not the way that we as Jedi should behave. We're out there in wars and we're killing, we're not thinking about it. That's not the Jedi way. I gotta walk away from this. It has to be a different way. And he's still trying to find that way and trying to find a solution in his own way, not with the Jedi Council or with the Jedi Order. So when he comes back and then has to confront Reith, because Reith is not a happy reunion. I wish we got more of that reunion, a little bit more emotional. It still was, but they were so busy where everything was going on, so we didn't get everything that I was hoping for. But like Dale mentioned before, it's not the story I want, it's the story that we get, and then we'll decide if we like it or not. I did like it. But Reith, as anyone seeing their father figure, their teacher, leave at such an important point in their life at the end of phase one, when he was just made promoted to a Jedi Knight, having those thoughts for the past year and a half, 2 years, that Comac's decision to leave had something to do with Reith, who had already lost one master and now lost a second master. So having to come to that communication, that trust between the two of them again, was great to see in the page. And I'm glad that we got to see it. It was something that we had to kind of just make up our mind of what happened. So I'm glad we got to see that. We got some new characters also, Padawan Saf Mora and his master Eve Bayer. I really enjoyed these characters when we got them at the beginning. Spoilers, again, this book has been out for a month, so yeah, this is a spoiler review. I felt very sad when Saf Mora was killed by the Nameless. Again, Sicarus, these Children of the Storm, used to be a member of the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door, then again connects to phase 2 of the High Republic. Children of the Storm are, quote, children that Baron Bulan has created. They have some force tendencies, some dark side tendencies, but then he infused them with Nameless blood, with blood from levelers. So they are not attacked by the Nameless. They almost feel like they're Nameless and they're feeding on the force. They're not actually feeding from it, but the way it's written, the way his body reacts when Jedi are close, that where he injects himself, is decaying, almost pale, sunken eyes. He's almost turning into a Nameless, that way that is described. So it's this almost grotesque being out there with a pack of Nameless going out hunting Jedi. Like Mark and Rose's shadow is all over the book, where he's not there, he's not present. We didn't need him in the book to have this foil for the Jedi, this villain out there trying to thwart their plans. And then his victim, or his mission, is to get to Comac, because Comac has been going to all these different places trying to find information on the Ptolemites. He keeps escaping. That's his sole purpose, to find this Jedi. He thinks he's a Jedi, but of course Comac isn't. So it's great to see that back and forth. Unfortunately, we lost Saf Mora pretty early on, but his master, Eve Bayer, survived, tortured by the presence of the Nameless so close to her for the most of the book, but at least made it to the end. So once Reith and Amadeo figure out or believe that the Nameless and the Blight are really connected and it all comes from the same place, they now have to find where this place is. Maybe if we found where the Nameless came and the Blight, then we can find a way to combat it and to put an end to this. And other studies all lead to these people called the Ptolemites. And they had these 3 deities that they revered, which were the 3 Asians. Reminded me of the Father, the Mother, and the Son. Father, daughter, and the son from Rebels, from the Clone Wars, and of course Rebels, and with Ahsoka. So it reminded me of that. It wasn't. Who knows if they connect at some point. But basically it's Reith and Comac go out to try to find this library basically that they have, which is in this world. There wasn't any star maps. They had to again do all these archaeological finds, Indiana Jones type adventure to find it, raise the library from under the water to be able to access it. And it's basically the body of the Ptolemies were there, and all their memories were encased in it. So when Reed touches it, he basically relives everything that has happened. The Ptolemites sent some people out to find riches and new places and new stories or more things to bring home, which we know in Star Wars is leave the things that you find that you don't understand, leave them where they belong. Again, going into the dark, when Reed and Cormac again take the four statues, those four sea statues, away from the Amaxine station and release that ring gear when they brought it back to Coruscant, then the Ptolemites found, apart from all these riches, they found some creatures on a nameless planet. Sorry, pun not intended, but I'll take it. And brought them to their planet. And by taking the nameless out of their planet and bringing them to the Ptolemite planet, then they exposed everyone to them. The Ptolemites were this very attuned to the Force society. Then when you bring the nameless to it, then the nameless, of course, killed most of them. And the three agents went out to try to find a solution to it. At the same time that they removed the nameless from their planet, then the blight start, and it's this plague, the plague of the Ptolemites. And then you see the problem with what all this comes to a head is that the planet where the nameless come from is very rich in the Force. So they feed from the planet. They don't have to go out and kill Force sensitive beings because they're feeding from the Force of the whole planet. You remove the nameless from that Force planet, they are attracted to whatever the strongest sense in the Force is out there, which are the Jedi. So that's why they go. They're attracted to the Jedi. They feed on the Jedi because they're away from their main source of energy or symbiosis, I guess. And for the planet, I'm guessing it's missing all this. And then the nameless being all out there, then the blight starts spreading. Because I don't know, that still hasn't been explained too much, or maybe I just forgot about it. But I love making all that connection. And also the rods. Like the Ptolemites created the 3 rods out there that Markion Row has now. And you can use those to control the blight, control the nameless, and hopefully take them back to the home planet. So I love, again, that everything now is coming together. And I love the way that they did it. Some people might say, why did we need to introduce the blight? We already have the Nihil, we had the Markion Row, we had the nameless, and I agree. There's a lot of stuff out there, already that the Jedi and the Republic have to deal with. Do we really need it to introduce the blight? Maybe not, but it's there, and I'm okay with it. Whew, sorry, that's a lot. Aslin Rel, Fallen Jedi. Aslin Rel is here. He's a big part of the book. He is this sort of mentor to Reed Silas, even though Reed knows that he shouldn't trust him. Most people tell him, don't trust Aslin Rel. He's just in it for himself. He always has something in the back of his mind that he's trying to figure out. He talks in all these riddles and mysteries and doesn't tell Reed what the answer. It was Reed to figure it out, and he knew about the Ptolemites, but he thought it was a legend that he wasn't going to be able to find that library with all the information. So that proved wrong. But there's also he's colluding with someone, and then we have a little bit with Vernestra Rowe trying to investigate what Aslin is doing. So I think for the next book, we'll see a little bit more of that. The Vessel, our friends from the Vessel crew, Afi Hollow, Leos Giation, of course, the best rock out there, Geode are there. They've been flying missions with the Jedi and with the Republic, helping move people in and out from the occlusion zone, or taking the Jedi to places close to the occlusion zone on that border that sometimes were raided by the Nihil to help those people out, bring Jedi in to help, ferry the people out. So that's what they've been doing with the Bind Guild also. It's helping out. And that's what we mentioned months ago, last year. This is how this is going to end, how the Nihil are going to be defeated. It's by the power of friendship. And that's what Afi has been doing with everyone in the Bind Guild, is help the people that are being hurt by the Nihil. her helping take Jedi into place, take supplies, bring people into less stressful areas or places that are not as affected. So I love seeing that continuation. And while all that is going on, while Reed and Comac are out trying to find the mystery of the Ptolemies to figure out where the Nameless came from, then you have Amadeo with his master Mirolox and the RDC, the Republic Defense Coalition, which is working with some mercenaries, that they need a live Nameless to be able to really study, to know why it's affecting the Jedi, how it affects the Jedi, and to study from a safe place. So those two, along with new characters, Ashton Vall, she was a great mercenary out there. She has a great droid called L77, and a new medic, Dorian Inez, which is this trans character out there. We find that Amadeo is bisexual at this point. He was attracted to a female in the Tales of the Jedi short stories, and now here he has some attraction to this medic, to Dorian Inez. So we got a little bit of that. There's nothing kind of, oh, it's going to leave the order now, be in a relationship. There's not that. He's still young, trying to figure things out. But those three are kind of this group of friends that comes into play that helps them at the end get a Nameless. So by the end of this book, we have a Nameless in tow going to Coruscant. Comac and Reed have the secrets from the Ptolemite civilization, the three ancients, and all that now is coming to Coruscant to try to figure out how to move forward. Sorry. Reed still trying to figure out where Aslin falls in all of this. He's still helping. We know he has something that he wants to just for himself. He has something back of his mind that he's playing towards. But he's one of the few that has been able to survive the Nameless. He's been there since phase 2, so he's over 150 years old. No one knows how he's been able to survive so long. And through all this, the Blight is on Coruscant, under the Jedi Temple, in the Sith shrine that was built over a Virgins in the Force, and now the temple sits on top of it, which is something that we've known before. I'm not 100% sure where in canon it's been said, but now it was made there. It was just chapters and chapters were spent there. Little hint or little nugget of information for the Jedi. Maybe don't keep bringing all your dark side artifacts to the Sith temple that sits on a Virgins in the Force in Coruscant. Maybe not a good idea, because they bring everything that they don't understand, everything has to do with dark arts. They just put in the Sith temple. No one's going to worry about it. They'll forget it. Maybe don't do that. So yeah, all in all, sorry, let me see. Oh, look who's there. Our friends from A Certain Point at Q. How are you doing? I just got to show that I still have it here. Don't forget about it. Thank you. So if you guys, sorry. So yeah, thank you again, Matt and Jay. Anyone out there, make sure you follow From A Certain Point as Q. Not just follow, listen to the show, interact with them when they ask, hey, send us a question, send us a voicemail. They do great things on their show. They're great giveaways also. So follow them in all other places. Just put down there, where can people find you? I'll show it up in a minute. Sorry. But again, Tears of the Nameless, one of my favorite Phase 3 books of the High Republic so far. We only got 3 more adult and YA books to go. George Mann did a great job bringing everything together. All the characters work. The story, the way it expands what we knew about the High Republic and Star Wars is great. There's a lot of canon connections, like I mentioned before, to Phase 1, Phase 2, the comics, the audiobooks, everything. So that's, even though I loved it because I've read most of it, can also see how that can be a negative for people that haven't been caught up with everything High Republic. But all in all, I gave this book at least 4.5 stars almost out of 5. Sorry, 4.5 probe droids out of 5. So if you're hesitant, don't be. This is a great addition to your High Republic shelf. And just read it, listen to it. It's great. I love this. George Mann, like I mentioned at the beginning, has been knocking it out of the park in all his Star Wars book and all his High Republic book so far have been some of my favorites in those different phases. So, Whew. So with that, we bring an end to our review of Tears of the Nameless, and not too far. I think next year, early next year, we'll start getting some of the other books out there. So, all right, guys, thanks for everyone that joined us today. Thanks again to Matt and Jay from Assertive on SQ for joining us in the last couple of minutes. Thanks to our friend Dale, who was there, Brennan, of course, a new friend, Wookie Talks, everyone for joining us. We'll be back next week if there's any Star Wars stories to discuss. We'll see. Penguin. Tomorrow is the Penguin finale. That's going to be so fun. Last episode was a roller coaster of emotion for myself as a parent, seeing how Oz kind of caused the death of his brothers. That was a real heartbreaking 20-30 minutes. So, but yeah, great show. Can't wait for the finale tomorrow. We'll probably discuss that next week. But all right, guys, like I mentioned, we'll hopefully be back next week. Thanks to everyone that joined us today. If there's nothing new to talk about next week, I'll put it out in all our social medias if we won't have a show. But I'll let you guys know that we're getting close to Skeleton Crew. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Again, follow us at Radio Rebel Pod, Blue Sky, Twitter, at least for now, Instagram, and of course, that old YouTube where you're watching this. And any place you listen to your podcast, you can find us there. So, all right, guys, thank you as always. Stay safe, be safe, and may the force be with you. See ya.